Thank you for coming along this morning and helping us to celebrate 21 years of MobileMuster. It's certainly a milestone in the program for us, one we are certainly proud of, and effectively 21 years of mobile phone recycling in Australia. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Gadigal people of the Aurora Nation, and recognise their continued connection to land, water and culture, and pay respect to their elders, both past and present. What you might not know is the Mint, where we are today, is Sydney's oldest building, and I think it's actually fitting that we get to celebrate Australia's oldest product stewardship scheme in such an amazing space. The program has certainly grown over the last 21 years, and I feel like we've actually grown up. In '98, when it first started, it was about collecting mobile phone batteries for recycling and keeping them out of the general waste stream. Today, our product scope has broadened. We do mobile phones, batteries, chargers, accessories, and even right through to wearables. We have an extensive collection network, and I would say the most extensive collection network of any of the stewardship schemes. And also we're an integral part of the circular economy in educating mobile phone users on the benefits of reuse and recycling. Now, what you were seeing is hanging off the back of the chairs is a little bag for you all to take away with you today, and in there you'll actually find our latest annual report. To start us off today, I'd like to welcome our first speaker, the Chair of the AMTA Board, Jane Van Beelen, who's also the Executive Manager for Compliance and Regulatory Affairs at Telstra.
Thanks, Spyro, and welcome everyone to this celebration of 21 years of the mobile industry's development, focus and achievement through MobileMuster. Thank you for joining us for this celebration. We would particularly like to welcome the Assistant Minister for Waste Reduction and Environmental Management, the Honourable Trevor Evans, who will be joining us shortly, and we'll be hearing from him. Also joining us will be the New South Wales Minister for Environment and Energy, the Honourable Matt Keane. Today acknowledges a lot of commitment and hard work that the mobile industry is putting in to design and sustain what is a world-leading product stewardship program that's delivered really strong environmental and social outcomes. This was acknowledged by the federal government when the program secured voluntary accreditation in 2014. It was the first voluntary scheme to be accredited under the Product Stewardship Act, and that accreditation was recently renewed for a further 5 years. Telstra, my company, was a founding member of the program in 1998, and MobileMuster certainly remains a key element of our environmental focus as a company, as it is for all the members of AMTA. This really highlights the importance of the industry taking responsibility, taking the lead in product stewardship, and being a critical part of enabling the circular economy. MobileMuster is our industry, and AMTA in particular's primary commitment to an environmentally sustainable mobile industry, which minimises the use of resources through product stewardship and recycling. MobileMuster is a flagship program for AMTA. AMTA's vision is all about promoting an environmentally, socially and economically responsible, sustainable and successful mobile telecommunications industry in Australia. In the last 21 years, a few statistics which might interest you. The industry has committed over $46 million to the MobileMuster program and has collected and recycled 1,500 tonnes of product, which comprises 14 million handsets and batteries. So through this process, the program has saved 28 tonnes of mineral resources and achieved environmental benefits equivalent to saving 5,443 tonnes of carbon dioxide emissions, or the equivalent to planting over 1.4 million trees. Awareness of mobile phone recycling sits at 70%, and 1 in 3 people have ever recycled a mobile phone. So good stats, more to do, I'd say. As we approach 2020, AMTA is really proud to be representing an industry that has set ambitious targets for reducing carbon emissions, increased recycling, and for the use of recycled and renewable materials in the production of devices and our networks. AMTA will continue to work closely with its members, its stakeholders and the governments to ensure that MobileMuster continues to achieve its accreditation outcomes, bringing measurable social and environmental benefits to the broader community. I really want to take this opportunity to acknowledge, in particular, the MobileMuster team, led by Spyro, the management committee of MobileMuster, members of AMTA, past and present, and the broader AMTA team which supports this undertaking. Again, I'd like to welcome you and wish MobileMuster a happy 21st birthday.
Sorry, Jane, I failed in my duties in controlling the slideshow. That's okay, we'll make up for it. So it is definitely our members that are the driving force behind the program, and I do want to acknowledge those members. They include Alcatel, Apple, Google, HMD Global, which is the brand behind the Nokia brand, HTC, Huawei, Motorola, Oppo, our most recent member Vivo Mobile, ZTE, and of course the network providers Optus, Telstra and Vodafone. So how do you summarise 21 years of MobileMuster, and of course with a video? And so with the help of some of our members and some of our partners, we pulled together a short video which we're launching today. And I'll play that video for you now.
This year, MobileMuster turns 21. This is how many phones they recycled 21 years ago. And this is how many they've recycled just this year. And this is everything in between.
What happens to your phone when it's recycled?
Established in 1998, when mobiles looked like this, and our mascot looked like this. In a time when the only thing to do with your old phone was to store it or bin it. But since then, they have grown with new members, engaged with more partners, and collected millions of mobiles. With more than 3,500 drop-off points, plus a free post-back option, almost 1,500 tonnes of mobile phone accessories and components have been recycled. That's equal to 250 African elephants, or 8,823,529 avocados. So, what has all this meant?
We've reduced CO2 emissions.
Conserved raw materials.
We've made a real impact.
MobileMuster has come a long way. In 2014, the program was accredited by the federal government under the Product Stewardship Act for addressing the environmental impacts of mobile phones across their full life cycle.
The accreditation provides confidence to consumers that their old mobile will be recycled the right way and to the highest environmental standards.
So, MobileMuster recycles phones. We get that, but did you know that they have given over $1 million to social causes to motivate more of us to recycle?
These partnerships have helped plant a forest of trees and also help those in need.
Yep, MobileMuster have made great achievements, but it doesn't stop here. Extending the life of mobile products and components is a growing trend.
And it's up to us as consumers to continue this circular economy. 3 in 4 Australians are aware that they can recycle their mobile phones, and more are learning thanks to our award-winning education programs.
So, keep up the good work, because this is just the beginning. Do good for tomorrow. Recycle your old mobile today.
Thank you, and it was a lot of fun actually making that video. The partnerships are actually an integral part of what we do at MobileMuster. Not only do they support our collection network in being active drop-off points, but they also help get our message out and encourage more of us to recycle. I also want to acknowledge our retail partners in that space, Australia Post, Battery World and Officeworks, and also our charity partners, which include Oz Harvest, Salvos and Take 3 for the Sea. One of our longest standing partnerships is with Planet Ark, and they've been with us since the beginning. And I'd like to welcome Deputy CEO of Planet Ark, Rebecca Gilling, to say a few words.
Thanks very much, Spyro, and I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I don't know if our ministers are in the room. They are, so Ministers Evans and Keane, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for having me. I'm really delighted to be here representing Planet Ark today because we've had a really formative relationship with MobileMuster since its inception. Actually, you might even say since its conception. I was about to give you a wholly inaccurate potted history of the relationship between our two organisations, which I've gleaned from our CEO, Paul Klemenko, who's sad not to be here with us today. And while Paul is fantastic at remembering extraordinary details about the amount of greenhouse gases emissions saved from various activities, he's a bit rubbery around dates. So luckily I ran into Glenn from AMTA on my way in here, and he was able to put me to rights about a few of those dates. In fact, the relationship began just before 2001, and we had already started receiving inquiries from people about how to recycle these mobile phones that were becoming more and more ubiquitous. We were then approached by AMTA to help them with the education element of the program, to help them get the message out, and thus Phones for Planet Ark was born. AMTA took over the program a couple of years after that, and MobileMuster was the result. One can't really overstate how groundbreaking this product stewardship program was at a time when the idea of extended producer responsibility was really just starting to take hold. In fact, it also became the model for our own Cartridges for Planet Ark program, among many others. And we're also very grateful for the support that MobileMuster has shown us over the years, both in supporting our Recycling EU information service and as a supporter of National Recycling Week, which incidentally kicks off in just under 2 weeks from now. Indeed, inquiries about e-waste generally are always in the top 2 of inquiries to our Recycling EU information service. As a social scientist, I'm always endlessly interested in the way in which technological and social change drive one another. And certainly the history of our love affair with the phone is a case in point, and a fascinating one. I'm of course old enough to remember when you had to book an international call and you'd have to make notes about what you wanted to talk about because every minute was worth pounds, not even dollars back then. So I also can still hear in my ear the operator in the phone box saying, "Press button A." So, you know, I've been following this movement for a long time. We've always been early adopters in this country, and the brick phone, of course, appeared in the mid-80s, not long after it was invented, in fact, despite its $4,500 price tag. Later in the 90s, we had the clam phone appearing, and by the early 2000s, the BlackBerry was allowing us to send emails on our phones. Who would have thought it? So the mobile phone was really fast becoming an essential part of everyday life. Today, of course, we're almost as concerned about the whereabouts of our phone as we are about our children. But along the way, we've also become increasingly aware that these devices that we attach so much importance to also have an inherent value in them that shouldn't be wasted. And this really has been one of the challenges of MobileMuster and for Planet Ark along the way, is to get those phones out of that bottom drawer and back into reuse or recycling. So we've really been keen to help MobileMuster, and we hope that we played a part in helping people to motivate people to get those phones back into the program. As we move more towards a circular economy in Australia, we recognise that recycling must come after reuse, And so we're very pleased that MobileMuster is also encouraging reuse and has partnered with a number of repair services to deal with the phones that come through their programs when they come to their inevitable end of life. So it's a great success story, and one that we're particularly proud at Planet Ark to have been a part of. We look forward to continuing that strong relationship, because collaboration really is at the heart of what is going to drive the circular economy in Australia. Collaboration and trust. And so we look forward to continuing that relationship, and we wish MobileMuster a very happy 21st birthday.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hopefully all of you have brought a mobile phone to recycle with you today, so we can put a dent on those phones being stored. Now we are honoured to have the Minister for Waste Reduction and Environmental Management, the Honourable Trevor Evans, with us today, and I'd like to welcome the Minister as our final speaker. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Spyro. Can I add my acknowledgements to the traditional custodians of the land? Can I thank you, Spyro, for the invitation to be here, along with the Mobile Telecommunications Association, and can I thank all of your partners and sponsors in the room as well for being a part of the journey that you've been on. I'm delighted to be here today to be able to help you celebrate the achievements of MobileMuster, and I'm really pleased that Rebecca gave a bit of a potted history of recent technological changes, because on my way here I thought it would be interesting to start with the observation that history has been littered with bad predictions about the future of technology, and I found just a few. So in 1949, the writers of Popular Mechanics magazine prophesied that the computers of the future may weigh no more than 1.5 tons. In 1977, Ken Olsen, the founder of one of America's leading early tech firms, famously argued that there was no reason why anyone would want a computer in their own home. And Bill Gates, who I think is probably the undisputed king when it comes to bad tech predictions, once declared that the iPod was a passing fad, and that online spam would be a thing of the past by no later than 2006. And the rest, as they say, is history. So fast forward to today, and I think we can all agree that the rate of technological change, even in the last 10 years, has well and truly surpassed even the most optimistic predictions of the past century. Where once a home computer was clearly or apparently unthinkable, now 9 in 10 Australians have smartphones in their pocket, which are more powerful by several orders of magnitude than the computers that NASA used to put a man on the moon. The advances that we've witnessed in telecommunications in the space of our lifetime have really revolutionised the way that most of us work, live, connect with loved ones, manage our lives, perhaps nowhere more than right here in Australia. Australians are, after all, amongst the fastest adopters and most avid consumers when it comes to new technology right around the world. And with this unprecedented change has come countless new opportunities, but also new challenges and new strains and stresses on our resources. So it is vital that we've got arrangements in place to deal responsibly with products like phones and their accessories at the end of their useful life, which of course is where the fantastic work of MobileMuster comes in. So as the successes of MobileMuster attest, product stewardship presents a very important opportunity to manage the impacts and make the most of the opportunities that technology and its consumption brings. We saw some of the statistics in the video just before, and schemes like MobileMuster acknowledge that every single one of us involved in producing, selling, using or disposing of products, we all have a shared responsibility to ensure that they are managed throughout their lifetime, throughout their life cycle, in a way that minimises their impact on the environment and on human health and well-being. So MobileMuster was established at a time when product stewardship was not widely practiced or even spoken about much in Australia, as Rebecca mentioned. MobileMuster is a fantastic example, one of the pin-up schemes for the Australian government when it comes to a successful industry-led and funded product stewardship scheme. And as many of you would probably know, often the first impulse of, or the first call on government to respond to a challenge like e-waste and resource recovery is with heavy-handed mandated schemes and regulation. However, it's my belief, and MobileMuster stands testament to this, that industries can successfully and voluntarily take action to reduce the impact of their products on the environment without the need for that sort of heavy-handed or external interference. Since MobileMuster was launched 21 years ago, as we saw in the video, the industry's invested about $45 million into the program. And Spyro, you, MobileMuster, Planet Arc, all of your partners and sponsors can take a lot of pride in the results that you've achieved. It's resulted in almost 1,500 tonnes of material being recycled and over 14 million handsets and batteries diverted from landfill. In the last year alone, I understand that number topped something like 1.1 million handsets and batteries. So well done and congratulations. And for each of those collected, you've achieved, I think, close to a 98% resource recovery rate. So well done again. MobileMuster's achieved increased industry participation as well. So your sponsors and your partners and your links and engagement with industry are growing, and that's good to see. And all of this activity is supported by MobileMuster's extensive nationwide collection network with 3,500 public drop-off points right across the country, covering a staggering 96% of the population. And we can update that, it's now 3,501. There's one in my electorate office in Albion, just north of Brisbane. The scheme helps consumers and businesses minimise future greenhouse gas emissions, save energy, protect the environment and conserve natural resources, whilst also preventing potentially hazardous materials from entering the environment. And I also do want to acknowledge some of the other key achievements of the program over that period. We saw some of them in the video. So MobileMuster's provided over 200 refurbished devices to Able Australia, as well as helping to deliver over 70,000 meals for people in need in partnership with OzHarvest through the Mobile for a Meal initiative. So congratulations on those partnerships and that community engagement as well. The success of these initiatives would not be possible without the strong relationships that you've built and maintained over your many years of activity, both within the mobile and telco industry and with great organisations like Able and OzHarvest, retailers, repair stores, local governments and schools. So I'd like to pay tribute to the important role that MobileMuster plays in raising public awareness about the importance of recycling as a fundamental point. Launched in 2018, MobileMuster's Mobile Connections programs engages schools by providing practical curriculum resources for the classroom to help increase students' understanding of sustainability and recycling. And it's so fantastic to see everywhere I go the increasing passion there is for waste reduction and recycling, and it's no more true than it is in schools and with the next generation coming through, which is fantastic. So the federal government recognises that Australians do increasingly care deeply about our environment and that Australians want to be more confident that their waste is being managed responsibly. As the Commonwealth's first ever dedicated Minister for Recycling and Waste Reduction, I stand here today as one piece of evidence of the federal government's commitment to this cause. Evidence shows obviously that reducing waste is not only good for the environment, but it's good for the economy. And it's a point that I think we should all try to make more strongly. Just over 9 jobs are created for every 10,000 tonnes of waste that we can recycle, compared to only less than 3 jobs if that waste is diverted to landfill. So that's why we took a strong package of commitments to the recent election, and why we are the first government elected with a strong and comprehensive suite of measures, initiatives and funding to help achieve the outcomes across Australia that we all really want to see, including a significant boost for new and expanded product stewardship schemes. So as we speak, our department is finalising its advice to us on product stewardship, investment fund arrangements, including the mechanisms that we should see going forwards to most effectively prioritise and support industry-led schemes like MobileMuster. And I do just want to take a moment to encourage everyone in industry, in business, entrepreneurs and innovators all, to come and talk to me and talk to the government if you do have ideas about different priority areas and the type of support that would be most useful as we seek to expand and set up new product stewardship schemes right across Australia. So in closing, can I once again thank MobileMuster and congratulate you for over 2 decades now, 21 years of significant achievements for our environment, for industry and for our society. It's just so inspiring to have such a successful example of industry-led product stewardship so close to home. Considering the recent lessons of history, it might be unwise of me to offer too many ambitious predictions about what the future of technology might have to offer, but I'm sure whatever the next 21 years hold in store for all of us, your future at MobileMuster will be very, very bright indeed. So thank you very much for the opportunity to say these words.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you for the ongoing support, and also thank you to the Department for the ongoing support. Well, that brings us to the end of official proceedings, and thank you again for joining us. Before we wrap up, I do want to thank again the AMTA board, MobileMuster's members, the MobileMuster team, and I do want to highlight Larissa Shaskoff and Susie Franks who've helped pull this event together. I'd also like to thank the New South Wales Minister for Environment, the Honourable Matt Keane, who has also joined us today, and for the support. So thank you again. The coffee cart is still going, so grab a coffee and something else to eat. And thank you again for helping us celebrate such a momentous occasion for us. Can I just ask the speakers to stick around? I know some of you need to run off for a photo opportunity. That would be great.